web.xml file. Let's go to this web.xml file, and here you can find URL pattern tag under this servlet mapping tag. So we have given some value to this URL pattern tag. Whatever the URL pattern you have given, simply select that one and copy this and type this one simply here. Why we have to type this here is we need the URL pattern in order to send a request to a particular servlet. It is the primary thing. Here's URL pattern plays a key role in order to in order to call a servlet that is from a server side. That's why we need this URL pattern. After typing this URL pattern, simply click on the enter button. Here you can see the output of our servlet after running. Welcome to servlets. As we have just written only one uh, output, only one line of statement, which is a simple statement which sends some welcome message to the client. That's why the same output is displayed here. Welcome to servlets. So this is the way how we can develop servlet applications using Eclipse IDE, and after developing servlet application, and how can we deploy that application to the Tomcat server. Only these two things we have learned in this uh, period of time. And let me explain clearly what will happen when we send a request to a particular servlet from client side by using this URL pattern. For this, for explaining this in more clear, I have developed a PowerPoint presentation. Let me open and explain that for you. Here, hello world diagram. You can see this is the PowerPoint presentation I have developed. Let us go for slideshow. This is the web server. So in our case, Tomcat. Inside this web server, Tomcat runs here, and this is the Tomcat representation. Just I am representing this one. Uh, Inside this Tomcat instance, our application is running. That name is Hello World application. So when the Tomcat server runs, whatever the web applications that we have deployed to the Tomcat web applications directory, let us go to that directory. D drive, Java softs, Tomcat softs. This is the Tomcat 7. As I have configured Tomcat 7 with Eclipse IDE, that's why I'm going to this one. Here you can find some WTP web apps and backup. These two folders will come into this Tomcat home directory when you configure the Tomcat server with Eclipse IDE. After that only these two folders will come into Tomcat home directory, because Eclipse IDE creates its own two directories, backup and WTP web apps. Here you can find a directory with this name, WTP web apps. This directory is used by our Eclipse IDE to place all web applications that are deployed from our Eclipse IDE. So let us open this folder. Here you can see the application what we have developed in our Eclipse IDE, and let us see the directory structure. So this is the webinf. Inside this you have classes directory, and inside this you have org servlet hello world followed by the dot class file. So all these things will be created for us by this Eclipse IDE, and this Eclipse IDE is taking the necessary care to do all these things. And I think I don't need to explain all these things. Just this is the application what we have developed in our Eclipse IDE, and after deploying this application it will be placed automatically under this WTP web apps. So this is whatever the applications we have placed inside this web apps directory, in this case WTP web apps directory, that is the name given by Eclipse. This is the original web apps directory, and this is the nickname and temporary a dummy copy created by Eclipse. Whatever the applications that are placed inside this web apps directory will be loaded during the startup of our Tomcat server. So when we run the Tomcat server from this Eclipse IDE, whatever the applications that are running, in more detail I can say whatever the applications that are placed inside this web apps directory, the details about those applications will be known to the Tomcat server. Uh, what the Tomcat server will do during startup is simply it will read the information from this web apps directory, and it will find and it will look for different web applications that are placed inside this directory. After that, it will, if there are any web applications that are placed inside this uh, web apps directory, it will look into, it will get information about those web applications by reading information from this web.xml file. From this web.xml file, what does it mean is it will simply read the content of this XML file, and it will get some information about this web application. So what kind of information, what resources you have configured uh, inside this web.xml file, it will get all information. It will get that information with the help of this web.xml file. Now let's come to this PowerPoint presentation. Yes, Tomcat was started. That's why our Hello World application was loaded by Tomcat server during startup. So that's why here you can see Hello World application in our Tomcat server. After that, what we have done, we have sent a request from web browser that is available inside this Eclipse IDE itself instead of the web browser from outside Eclipse. We have used the web browser that comes with Eclipse IDE itself to send a request. In our case, this is the one. So let us see the web browser in this representation. So that is the browser we are representing, client or browser. So from this browser, we send a request to the servlet that is available in this Hello World application. Because how we are specifying that one is by using, by using this Hello World name inside this web browser address bar with the help of this Hello World. It is represented as web application name. More technically, you can call that as a context path or context, web context. Sorry, yeah, web. Here we are representing that web context. So our application was loaded by Tomcat and it is ready, means Tomcat is ready to serve if we send any request from client. Now let us send a request from client side. This is the client. Now our client sent a request to the Hello World application to the resource, to a resource that is available in this hello world web application more technically to a resource that is available in hello world context path. So what happened in this is we just sent a request to a resource on a context path from a that is available in on a context inside a context directory, that is hello world in our case. And what will happen when we send a request from client side? Now let us see that internally the Tomcat server will create an object of our servlet when we send a request from this client. Now the Tomcat server just created a servlet object. Here creating servlet object is nothing but it will simply execute the statements that we have written inside this doGet method. So whatever the statements you have written inside this doGet method will be executed. And in our example we just written a simple output statement which welcomes to servlet technology. That's why that statement uh, this statement is executed. And after executing the statement, what the Tomcat will do for us is, let us see that. Client send the request, servlet object is created, and after running the code that we have written inside this doGet method, what our Tomcat will do is it will simply send a response to the client. So here in our case the response was hello world. That's the simple statement we have written inside doGet. That's why the same statement was sent by the Tomcat as an output to client. So this is the thing what will happen internally when we send a request to a particular resource from a client. Thank you.